This is Wade, and you are in Wade World. Or are you in Clown World? All right, let's see. A lot of you have zero idea what finance is, how, and that's not your fault because you've not been taught about it. But even your gardener probably has heard about, oh, the SpaceX IPO, buy shares in SpaceX, and we're gonna make $1 trillion. This IPO is literally like someone in asking you to invest in a venture which is losing money at 300 times the valuation. So it's like, I'm losing money, but why don't you give me even more money so I can lose? Because trust me, bro, the company is worth like $1.7 trillion. The thing is, over time, and especially since the gold standard was abandoned, like you couldn't exchange US dollars for actual gold, which has a finite supply right now, the numbers are meaningless. Through history, the first millionaire was in the United States in dollars at a time when the dollar could be exchanged for gold. The first billionaire was in the United States at a time when the dollar could be exchanged for gold. Now the dollar can't be exchanged for gold, not officially. It can just be printed indefinitely, and we have billionaires, and now we will have trillionaires running around. And the reason this is an indication of the dollar's collapse is very simple. You cannot have these numbers if your currency is backed by something stable, right? The entire market cap, the entire value of gold in the entire world is around $24 trillion. The value of the global economy with money that is not tied to dollar or to gold or anything else is magnitudes more, right? And they say, oh, it's backed by the strength and the might of the US and the strength of the might of the military. Yeah, but the strength and the might goes up and down. It's not something that you can buy and sell or trade it equitably. It's just like, trust me, bro. So if we go back to the first stock market offering, pretty much it was pretty sure it was a Jewish offering because these guys love to bullshit people. It was in the 16th century, and the idea was actually not bad at that time. It was like, all right, I'm going to take a ship and I'm going to go and explore different countries. And the possibility that I come back with something that is very valuable is going to be very huge, but I can't afford it. And I can't, and the king is not going to fund me because he thinks it's not a good use of capital right now. So I'm going to let other people give me money and I will give them a share of the profits. That was something tangible. So you were basically gambling on a risk that this could go up, but there was definite plan. Nobody was losing money. You were going to give money to something that could fail, but could have a high chance of success. And it succeeded. Excuse me. After that, the stock market in 300-400 years has evolved into, trust me, bro, this is good because TV says so, the internet says so, social media says so. And the fundamentals are definitely not there. A lot of valuations are from companies that don't make anything, don't create anything, are absolutely losing value. So a lot of you entrepreneurs out there, right? You're thinking like, let me build a business that actually makes money. They don't care about it. Most of the IPOs like Twitter, Facebook, even the SpaceX, they're losing money, man. They're not making money, they're losing money. So they're literally, it's like they're taking your money and burning it. They're destroying money. And they're making trillionaires out of people. And they're getting huge valuations. So it makes you ask the question, like, what the fuck is the game here? How the hell are you able to raise so much money and say you're a $1 trillion company if you're actually losing money and you're not really making anything? On top of that, there are no fundamentals. Like fundamentally, like if a business says, okay, I make $1 million in a year. So you're like, okay, so you're worth $1 million. If I buy you right now, you'll make me $1 million. So if I buy you and I keep you for 10 years, and hopefully nothing goes wrong, you'll make me at least $10 million. All right, cool. I'll buy you and then run the business for 10 years. That's called a normal valuation. Valuation these days is like, I'm losing money. but this is what I think I'm worth. And if you agree with this, let's fool everybody, including the regular people, into giving us a lot of this money for a small part of our company. And then on paper, we will be very wealthy, be very rich. And we can basically bullshit our way into making this a reality. This is what happened with Facebook. This is what happened with Meta. This is what happened with Alphabet. This is what happened with Tesla. Tesla right now, the value of the company has no relation to its actual value in the real world. So it's divorced from reality. It's just lies. And SpaceX, the same thing. Now, props to all the people involved in this scam. Like they've figured it out. But what's more interesting is that they figured it out only after crypto. So you'll be like, why? What happened? So we're gonna do like a little search here, and we're gonna go to the crypto rug pulls. This is great. So when crypto first came out, like DeFi came out, right? So you can look at all these imaginations and rug pulls. What it allowed you to do as a normal human being, as a normal investor with not a lot of money, was it allowed you access to real money making opportunities. Like you didn't have to wait. Usually, what happens is all the rich people who already have the wealth, they buy up the stocks. They agree with each other that okay, I bought it for like $1, but this is worth 100. So let me to call my banker friend at Goldman Sachs or something. And all of these are Jewish people, so they obviously have a network. And they're like, yo, tell the world we're worth like $100. And the bankers are like, all right, but I want like $15 worth. They're like, all right, sweet, we'll give you 15%. The bankers are like, the company's worth 100 billion, $100 per share. Then they go to the media guys and they're like, yo, tell everybody like the company's worth 100. So then the media are like, oh, this company's worth $100 a share. Do you understand how it's working? It's bullshit. It's lies, but liars, the ones who start the lie, the ones who reinforce the lie, and the ones who push the lie, they're all in it together. The average person is too busy to understand all of this, and they're like, they just hear like, oh, the news says this is worth $100, so I'm gonna put $100 in. They put $100 into a company that is worth $1. So the $99 are profit going to these liars and scammers, and then they crash. That's called a rug pull. So what happened was sometimes if you get in early enough, right? If you get in at that $1 before the lies make it $100, you could make 100 times your money. And this was closed off to the average retail investor. Like you can't get in. When crypto came along, it was like, yo, we don't mind. You can come in with $1. We don't mind. The way they closed it off was very simple. You need to be rich enough already to be able to become richer, you know? And you can watch the movie The Big Short, where they're trying to get into trade and the bank has to approve them. And the bank's like, oh, you need $1 billion. And they're like, what the hell? They're multimillionaires. So crypto allowed the average person to gamble in these risks. And human beings are gamblers. And it took away a lot of liquidity from the stock market. So now the stock market and the banking system, if you've not already understood with this circle we told you about, is a scam. So they got scared that holy, these people are stealing our lemmings. These people are stealing the people whose wealth we are stealing away from us. So we're losing out because we were too greedy and we locked these people out. So now these people are not allowing uh, us to scam them anymore because they're going to other people who are also scamming them, but at least they're letting them get a small chance of winning, whereas we get them no chance of winning. We don't even let them play the game. And as they saw the massive amount of people just moving away, they were like, yo, we need to like backtrack immediately because crypto doesn't only allow you to just get rich or go broke trying, but it also does something much more dangerous in that the money that you earn, it can't be seized, it can't be frozen, it can be taxed, it can't be tracked. Remember, if you divorced somebody or if you get a court order, they just take money from your bank account. In crypto, they can't do that. You know, when they freeze your bank account, you can't send money or receive money. Crypto can't do that. When they just take all the money from your bank account because of something or the other, or you get hacked. In crypto, you can't do that. However, there is a huge responsibility in crypto that you don't get taxed, you don't get all of this, but you have to manage your own money. So anyway, these people got panicked. They were like, "Holy, you know, all the sheep that we are being slaughtering are being taken by this other uh, farm that is giving them a slightly better life and a better chance of becoming fat. So let's reel them back in." So then they started Robinhood and all these apps. They started like, "Hey, come to Robinhood, you know, just don't worry about the crypto, man. You're going to give them your ID. We already have your ID. So just gamble in the stock market, call options, put options, become millionaires. Excuse me. And then you see that, yes, there are some people who make a lot of wealth with this, and they are again pushed in the narrative. Like, for example, right, if you see that all of these people are becoming centi-billionaires, somebody's becoming a trillionaire, and then many more trillionaires are going to come, then you're going to be like, well, if they could be trillionaires, I could be a millionaire, which is exactly the point. But the funny thing is that the first man to make $1 million in the United States in the 19th century made $1 million when a dollar could be taken to a bank and exchanged for actual gold. That stopped in 1972 when the US was forced to go off the dollar standard because all of the Jews who were in charge of the gold reserves basically stole it. And the country started asking for gold. They were like, yo, here's your dollars back. We want our gold. And the US realized, oh, damn, we don't have any gold. So they were like, temporarily, we're going to suspend exchanging dollars for gold. And that temporarily has become permanent. And after that, it was like, all right, we go to the Middle East, we'll protect oil. But now it seems they can't protect anybody. So basically, it just comes down to the fact that in the Middle East, they had the idea that for 70 years, we'll protect you. We'll use our army to protect you against all your enemies. And it turns out they don't give a damn about any of these countries except the Jews. So they took all the things that they were protecting these countries from, put them in Israel. Even from South Korea, they put anti-missile batteries in Israel. So it's basically a Jewish fugazi. Now with the SpaceX, it's fantastic. It's like such so brazen in your face because it's a scam. And if you've understood the scam, because Elon Musk understood the scam, and credit to him is that he's actually trying to do something, but he understood not just the scam of that it's a scam of, I'll say that my company is worth so much and I'll give you a lot of money if you also say it's worth this much. He also understood that you can't really fool other business people like that. You can't fool the government like that, but you can fool the actual average person. And the best way to fool them is to pump it up, pump it up, pump it up using the best way of social media right now, which is social media. Tesla is a great example. Now, Tesla makes good cars, but the share price and the valuation makes no sense compared to what its value actually is. This is because Tesla was attacked relentlessly by people who really hated electric cars, which is itself, that hatred is not good for mankind because electric cars and electric motors are the future. So what Tesla did was they hired 8 bots on Twitter and they just made those bots for 10 years, just post positive, 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 positive stuff about Tesla. And they realized like the average person, they're very susceptible to propaganda, which helped Tesla just grow massively. And then 2020 hit, everybody got checks and you had nothing to do. So they invested and Tesla was just like, yo, we need to get this really going so we get really a lot of cash and we defeat these short sellers. Well, that happened. Tesla got the valuation, and Elon Musk realized, like, yo, I need to buy Twitter because this is a great propaganda tool, and I can just bullshit my way into becoming a billionaire, like a centi-billionaire, which he did. And then he realized, wow, I can bullshit my way into becoming a trillionaire. So it's like instead of understanding, yo, the system is rigged, let me actually do something healthy for it. Let me actually do something useful for it. He decided, you know what? I'm just gonna. The system is rigged and I don't want to change it. He tried a little bit to fight for truth and justice and all, like the American way. But the American way has not been American since like 1913 when the Federal Reserve was established. And when he tried to get off the plantation, he was called to Israel and made to visit the Holocaust Museum. So that was the end of that. But anyway, Tesla, SpaceX, Twitter, they are complicit in this scam. And the scam is basically bullshitting you into believing the valuations. And the valuations are completely divorced from reality. Like, if you have been in crypto, right? Because a lot of people who have been in crypto because it was an escape from the system of control that is the banking system. This is the truth, right? Not a lot of you who are like, oh, I'll make an exchange and I'll buy some Bitcoin and all that, which is good and fine. But all the early guys who were in it, they understood like, yo, the banking system, it's not about giving you convenience, it's about controlling you. As long as you're a good little sheepy, you will never feel the control. But the moment you try to step out of, if we go back to this analogy, the matrix, you will realize, like, holy, this is just a system of control. Like, they really just want to control people, right? So, crypto showed a lot of people that the banking system is a system of control. However, crypto also showed a lot of people that most people are retarded, right? And now, because crypto gave an actual tax free alternative for people to escape the currency devaluation that was happening, because it is currency devaluation. Your dollar has lost 97% of its value. And if you're in some other country, you need to figure out how much value your currency has lost over the last 100 years. Some of your currencies have basically died and been reborn because they just took out a bunch of zeros because they were so bad. And the lower IQ your people are, the faster they devalue the currency. This is just a fact. So, Tesla is just the eventuality of an anomaly. It's like we're using matrix terminology. That you are living in a scammy system, and the purpose of the system is to loot you and to keep you in the system. And they will use any trick they can to keep you in the system. They will coerce you, threaten you, shame you, and at the end, just before the collapse, as we can see right now, they will entice you with greed. The fact that we have trillionaires now and we have $1 trillion valuations for companies based on speculation is an indication of something that always happens. Most people are sheep. This is just a fact. This is something that you may not like Jewish people, but when they call most people going, they are accurate. They are accurate because most of the people are. They just don't want to understand it. They have no interest in it. They behave like sheep. They don't use objectivity. In fact, in marketing, it's proven, and even in life, it's proven. You could go to a restaurant, right? You could go buy a restaurant, and most of you would not go to a restaurant if there's nobody sitting inside. Now, Wade has seen this personally because Wade is not like you guys. If Wade likes a restaurant and nobody's in there, Wade doesn't care. Wade goes in, and every single time this has happened, like the moment Wade goes in, the other people follow. That's human beings, sheep. But there is a duty of the shepherds to be good shepherds or slaughter the sheep, parasites. And right now, whoever is complicit in this system is basically a parasite. It doesn't matter what justifications you give. Like, oh, they're all sheep, they're all stupid. Sure. But still, if you slaughter all the sheep, then the only people left are the parasites. And remember, parasites are parasites because they don't know when to stop. So, your currency is being rug pulled. SpaceX is a perfect example of this. Your currency is being rug pulled. Your and let's see if we can actually go to. Let's see if we can actually see some fantastic space. There you go. Let's actually do that because this is fantastic. This is actually fantastic, and you'll see a lot more of what will make sense from Reddit. By the way, so this is like the first thing that pops up. The first world's first trillionaire. This is not a flex, by the way. And this is not because of jealousy or anything. It's not a flex because it just means a couple of things. First, the entire financial system is divorced from reality. And if it's divorced from reality, it is harmful to humanity. We have seen this. Secondly, the dollar has lost so much value that we have clowns becoming trillionaires. Hey, maybe there'll be decillionaires. No, forget trillionaires. It's just three. Maybe there'll be people who will be 100 times trillionaires, 1,000 quadrillionaires. Decillionaire is actually way higher than quadrillionaires. Quadrillionaires, 1,000 trillionaires. Because that means your currency is collapsing at a faster rate than it ever has. Now, the comments are hilarious. The wealth gap between this is useless. Find finally time for sharks with laser beams. SpaceX IPO makes retail investors the world's biggest bag holders. Tesla is losing profit every year. SpaceX has never made a profit. Musk is worth 1 trillion. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here is that you are seeing and you are rising up and wising up to the fact that the entire financial system that the world has agreed is fine and that has been forced on it by two world wars and a bunch of other wars and assassinations and straight up invasions over the last 150 or so years, and so many torturous murders of kings and czars and other rulers of men who actually had people's best interest at heart. This financial system is collapsing. It is showing you it's a scam. It is showing you that all of the money that is not backed by something tangible and finite is going to go to zero. And it is showing you that you are the biggest fools. The trillionaires and the billionaires that exist today have much less of an impact on the world than the man who made the first $1 million and the man who made the first $1 billion when the money was actually backed by gold. Remember this. The numbers mean nothing. You have actual clowns, like retarded 12-year-old entertaining 12-year-olds. So you have to be not a man. You have to be less than a man to do that. You have actual clowns like these becoming world famous. You have people kicking a ball on the field and being made world famous. These are like circus entertainers, clowns in a normal society. They're being given these statuses. And now you have trillionaires. And you'll have more of these people because your world is not getting better. People are not getting richer. This is not the best time in history to be alive. Really? Why can't people have children then? Why can't they buy houses? If this is the best time to be alive, why are they struggling to pay their bills, have a car, have a job? If this is the best time to be alive, why could their grandparents buy a house with 2 years of work and not even great work, like a factory work? Why could their grandparents support 5 children and a wife on one salary? This is not the best time of the world. This is the end times of the world. This is the times when the currency system is going to be heading towards collapse, and the collapse is just accelerating and becoming more in your face. And this is not going to stop anytime soon because the vast majority of you just don't care. That's the truth. You just don't care. You lack the willpower to care, you lack the intelligence to understand. So it's not up to you. Most of you are not going to be able to solve this. But this message is not for most of you. If you understand this in whatever little way you can, that's great. But this message is not for most of you. This message is for the people who actually can come together and solve it. So we're living in clown world. We've got clowns at the top of our idols list. Our idols are clowns. Hell, we've got leaders of countries acting like reality TV buffoons and clowns, not serious men. These are not serious men. And SpaceX is like the final clown cherry on top of this shit circus that we're all in. But anyway, that is what world you're living in right now. And until next time, hope you don't become one of the clowns or food for the tigers in the circus. Until next time, this is Wade saying keep it cool, keep it smart, and do what you can in these times, which is enjoy.